Hi, it's Paul Clark here from YOUSRC, and now we're going to look at example number 8, which is going to teach you how to get the mouse position on the screen, which is useful for lots of games. So here we are in the examples, and I'm going to scroll down, and here is number 8, where is the mouse? So let's click that. Before we have a look at the code, let's run the application and see what it does. So what it says is click mouse to see 5 mouse positions. So if I click somewhere in the middle, there's a new message, mouse clicked at X pos equals 231. So here's our X position, which is across the screen, and that number gets bigger as you move to the right. It's 0 over here. Let's just check that. There you go, X pos is 0, and across here it gets bigger. And it also shows the Y pos. So here about halfway, 154. So if I go up in this corner here, you'll see that Y pos is 2, and if I come down here, this must be a big X pos and a big Y pos. There you go, X pos is 475 out of a total possible of 480, and Y pos is 353, and that's out of a total possible of 360. So we go from 0 to 480, and we go from on the Y axis, and 0 to 360 on the X axis. All done. So let's go back to the workspace and see how we do this in the code. So I'll just scroll the code down and let's take a look there. So we've got one function called start, and that's going to keep the code nice and simple. We've got some local variables, counter, xpos and ypos, gfx right line. So there's the message we saw on the screen, clicks mouse to see 5 mouse positions, and then we've got a for loop for counter equals 1 to 5. So this loop is going to run 5 times. The first time when counter is 1, then when it's 2, then when it's 3, then when it's 4, then when it's 5, and then it'll drop off the end. We'll show the message all done, and the program will finish. So what are we going to do 5 times? Well, we're going to call a library function called mouse.wait. So mouse.wait will do nothing. It'll block there until the user clicks one of the mouse buttons. So mouse.wait is one of the mouse functions. There are others. Mouse.check doesn't block. It kind of checks if the mouse has been pressed or not, and then sets retval so that you can continue doing other things like making baddies move on the screen until the mouse is done. But here, to keep things simple, we've got mouse.wait. So we're going to block until the user presses a mouse. And then once the user presses a mouse, we're going to come down and run this code. Mouse.getX sets retval to be the value across the screen, and we're going to store that in one of our variables, xpos. Mouse.y gets the position of the mouse down the screen into retval, and so we're going to store that over in ypos. And so at this position, our xpos variable and our ypos variable are holding the mouse position, and we can now display it on the screen. So here's how we do that. gfx right, mouse clicked at, and we're using right instead of right line because we want all of this on one line, so we're building the line up in lots of little rights. If you remember, right line displays some text and then moves on to the next line. Right just displays some text. So we say mouse click to xpos equals, and then we do gfx right xpos, and then we say comma ypos equals, and then gfx right ypos, and then we do a new line at the end of that line. So that's how we display the position, and then it will go and wait for it to happen again, and it will do that 5 times, and then when we're finished we display all done. So I hope that's clear how this works. It's very simple. We do a wait until the key's pressed, we get the x and y position and store them in some variables, and then we do some gfx right calls in order to build up the line on the screen, and then we're all done. Let's just run it one more time. There's our message, and here are our 5 clicks, and then all done. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's quite simple to get the mouse position, and once we know the mouse position we can do all sorts more exciting things that we're going to move on to in the next example. Have fun!